Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Today I'm going to do a short presentation on sleep hygiene. So it sounds a bit funny, but I promise I will explain what it is. Yes, and this is basically encouraging good sleep, tips and tricks on how to fall asleep and stay asleep, and ultimately just get a good sleep. So hopefully for those who didn't have a good night's sleep yesterday, you can take some tips into consideration and have a better sleep tonight. So before I start, let me just introduce myself. I'm Sophia. I work at 7 Insurance Brokers and I'm a health and wellbeing specialist. And I do a bunch of wellbeing things, and one of those things is sharing nice little presentations on wellbeing initiatives. And the one I'll be doing today is on sleep, which we can all definitely relate to. So the aims of today is number one, to gain an understanding of the nature of normal sleep and sleeping difficulties, to explore the relationship between mental health difficulties and sleep, and number three, to support individuals experiencing sleep challenges through effective sleep hygiene practices. So to begin with, what is sleep hygiene? Sleep hygiene isn't about cleaning your bed or brushing your teeth or really just showering before you get into bed. Sleep hygiene practices is basically creating consistent habits and a nice, supportive, comfortable environment to improve our sleep quality and overall well-being. So sleep ultimately improves our well-being. So yeah, that's what sleep hygiene is. It's basically a bunch of suitable and appropriate and helpful practices. So many people view sleep as something they earn at the end of a long day, but almost like a reward. But actually, in reality, it works the other way around. So good sleep is what enables productivity and good decision making, and it gives us emotional resilience and helps us focus for the day ahead. So rather than seeing sleep as a reward for a hard working day, sleep is actually what makes our hard work possible. So these are just two quotes that I really like. Sleep is the foundation of performance, not the reward for it. And sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So that's just a little introduction to sleep and what it is and what sleep hygiene is, because some people see the title sleep hygiene, they're like, oh, I wonder what that is. But we're just going to watch a little funny video now. Let's see if this works. So just under 5 minutes. Has anyone had a night's sleep and can relate to this video? Just let me know if you can hear it. Just a thumbs up will be good. Can you hear that okay?
I can't hear it. I'm not sure if anybody else can't.
No, I can't hear either.
No? Okay. Don't know why the sound isn't working, but it's okay. You know, Mr. Bean, it's just laughing in the background anyways. So There's just cats and dogs outside. So yeah, can anyone relate to just having an endless night trying to get to bed, but no matter what you do, you just cannot fall asleep? I'm sure we've all been in that boat before. And actually, a good tip is if you're genuinely not tired, it's actually recommended not to get into bed. So if you cannot sleep and you're wide awake, it's good to just engage in some relaxing activities, which we'll get into towards the end of the presentation. Just wind down before actually getting into bed, because it's just not going to be a good time if you're just turning and twisting and doing all you can, but you just can't get to sleep. So sleep problems can show up in many different ways. Some people can't fall asleep, others wake up during the night or wake up too early and just can't get back to sleep. So some people also experience oversleeping, which can still leave them feeling very tired. Sometimes you think, oh, let me just rest, but you just sleep for hours and you still wake up not energized and not ready to smash the day. So that's actually because oversleeping can actually create that fatigue. So some results of poor sleep can be being tired, hard to make decisions, feeling low and sad, hard to concentrate, get angry quickly, feeling annoyed, and ultimately bad health. Sleeping is essential for both our physical health and our mental health. When we sleep, we feel more focused, calm, and energized. However, sleep disruption is very common, and everyone experiences it at some point in their life. So these are some good benefits of sleep. So easy to make decisions, feel energetic, helps you concentrate, reduces stress, gets on with people better, and helps keep a healthy weight. So just maintain our weight and overall less health problems. So what is sleep? So if we get quite into the biology of it, it's a predictable and active process controlled by two independent drivers. So the two independent drivers are homeostasis and circadian rhythms. They sound a bit complicated, but I promise it's not that complicated. So homeostasis is basically our sleep drive. So this is what basically drives us to sleep. It's the body's natural system that builds our need for sleep, and they sometimes call it our sleep pressure. So ultimately, the longer we stay awake, the stronger our sleep pressure becomes, and then that just means the better and naturally we fall asleep at the end of the day. It works like a simple feedback system. So when we sleep, that pressure reduces, and we feel rested again. So a helpful way to think about it, it's like being thirsty. So the longer we go without water, the thirstier we get. And once we drink, that feeling goes away. So sleep works in a very, very similar way. So that's what homeostasis is. It's basically our sleep pressure that builds our need for sleep. Our circadian rhythms, so this is basically our natural body clock. So it's our 24-hour clock that helps us regulate when we feel alert and when we feel sleepy. It's not just about the nighttime, it runs throughout the whole entire day. And these circadian rhythms are influenced by things like light exposure, hormones, body temperature, and our daily routines. So it's internal and external things. And it also varies from person to person. So some people are naturally more alert than others in the morning, while others are more alert in the evening. There was a study that showed that teenagers are actually more alert in the evenings because of their hormones. And another example is like owls. Owls' circadian rhythms are completely different to humans because they work in the night. So yeah, that's a little bit about circadian rhythms. That's just our body clocks. So these are some factors that influence our circadian rhythm. So these are some factors that influence what helps us basically fall and stay asleep. So number one, daily routine. So regularly sleeping and waking up at the same times consistently, it really stabilizes your body. So if you guys have like a pen and paper, maybe you can take some notes down and try these in the upcoming week and see if it does change your sleep patterns and sleep quality. So yeah, number one, daily routine. Sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time, and just having that routine, it really helps keep your circadian rhythm in a rhythm, basically. Secondly, in yellow, we have hormones. So our hormones affect this. Our cortisol helps us feel awake in the morning, and melatonin increases in the evening to promote sleepiness. So this is why sometimes people who do have some sleeping difficulties, they might get some melatonin prescribed. This actually helps them fall asleep. Activity level, so physical activity during the day increases the alertness and helps regulate nighttime sleepiness. So the activity level also helps with the process of homeostasis. So it basically builds that sleep pressure. So we're awake, and that activity level builds that sleep pressure and makes us more tired for the end of the day. So have any of you basically had like a relaxing day, stayed at home all day, stayed in bed all day, but still can't sleep at night even though you've rested all day? So yeah, physical exercise actually does promote sleepiness. Then we have food and digestion. So after eating, our blood flow and energy are all directed towards digestion, which can reduce alertness and increase tiredness, often seen after lunch. So midday, we all get that dip in our energy levels. We all get tired. Sometimes we feel sleepier after lunch than we do after dinner. That's why a lot of countries have the siesta and have a midday nap. So this is biologically, we all go through it, and it's because of food. Food makes us more tired. But just the note, don't eat too close to bedtime because that's the opposite effect. Body temperature. So this naturally drops in the afternoon, and it's our drop in body temperature actually signals the body to slow down and prepare for sleep. So have you ever heard of someone saying, taking a bath before bed really helps people relax, wind down, and fall asleep? Some people find that confusing because baths actually increase your body temperature, but actually, when you come out of the bath, your body temperature drops. So that actually sends signals to your body to prepare for sleep because of that drop in body temperature. And lastly, light exposure. Bright light, especially in the morning, increases alertness and helps reset our body clock, whereas darkness triggers melatonin release, which helps us feel sleepy. So it's extremely important. If you want to be awake, expose yourself to bright lights. And if you want to fall asleep, stay in complete darkness. You can do this through blackout curtains, eye masks. And I know it's hard, but the screen light from our phones is not good for us. So try wind down from that and not look at your phones at least 15 to 20 minutes before bedtime. And because that bright light does send signals to our body that we're just not ready to sleep yet. So just a little bit more on our body clock. Some studies, so there was a study by Michel Sivre. She lived in a complete isolation in a cage, no sunlight, no clocks, no social routines, completely nothing, just in a dark cage. And what they found was that her circadian rhythms actually switched from 24 hours and went on to 30 hours. So this just emphasizes how important it is to have these external cues like light and food and time and all of these things all together, that our natural body clock does actually shift from this 24-hour day. So it's very important to kind of have that routine, have the sunlight in the morning, the darkness in the night, and so on. So moving on to the stages of sleep. So sleep is actually split into 5 stages. Stage 1 is we transition from wakefulness to sleep. So it's basically when we pretend to be asleep to fall asleep. So it's the initial thing from when we close our eyes and start and try to drift off. That's stage 1. So number two, our body temperature drops. So this is after stage 1. So this is basically just going more into the sleep. Our heart rate slows, brain activity slows. And stage 2 is actually the largest portion of our sleep, which is still very easily woken. So that's why sometimes we feel like we wake up too easily when we sleep. Stage 3 is very deep restorative sleep. So it's very hard to wake up. This is what we call a deep sleep, basically knocked out. And in this stage, our body repairs tissues, builds energy, strengthens our immune system, and it's very important for physical recovery. And then stage 4 and stage 5 is REM sleep. So this is deeper wave sleep, sometimes combined with stage 3. Maximum physical restoration stage, growth, repair, process. So all of the good stuff happens when we sleep without us actually really knowing much about it. So this basically just emphasizes how important sleep is, because it's a process of rejuvenation for the body. It enables us to consolidate our memories and ultimately just recover our brain and body and muscles. So those are a little bit about the stages of sleep. And these cycles from stage 1 to 5 actually happen in 90 minutes. So we're just constantly going around in a cycle. And we have about 4 to 5 cycles a night. So I'm sure we've all seen this question before. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Does anyone want to answer, or should I just keep going? No? Okay. Well, technically, unrelated, but technically, they do say the egg came before the chicken because of a genetic mutation. A bird with a genetic mutation laid an egg and it turned into, it laid an egg and the egg had a genetic mutation and it turned into a chicken. So which came first, sleeping difficulties or mental health? So just like the chicken and the egg question, sleep problems and mental health difficulties often don't have a clear starting point. They can both cause and reinforce each other. So working on your sleep supports your mental health, and working on your mental health supports your sleep. Yes, so sleep and mental health have a two-way relationship. Working on sleep can improve mental health, and working on mental health can improve sleep. So insomnia. A common sleep difficulty, having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early. So we all do suffer from some sleeping difficulties at some point in our life, but it's very important to be able to identify if it is going a bit too much and leading to insomnia. And this is when it's very important to seek support. So if your sleeping issues occur more than 3 times a night per week and persistent, affecting your work, mood, daily functioning, feeling anxious and distressed about your sleep, relying on alcohol or other medications to sleep, and absolutely no improvements despite all your self-help strategies, it's time to just speak to a professional and get some help with this, because it's one of the most important things we do every single day, just as important as more important than drinking water, really. So yeah, if it is bothering you, please do seek professional support. So yes, with insomnia as well and poor sleep, it leads to a cycle. So we're unable to sleep, and then this leads about worrying about our sleep, and then our mental anxiety leads to physical anxiety response, and then that leads again to the being unable to sleep. So it's just that vicious cycle. So this just basically emphasizes the importance of practicing sleep hygiene tips. So we'll get into that now. So it's very important to remember that there are 3 key factors for good sleep. So I'm sure there's millions of key factors for good sleep, but these are the three main. So to improve sleep, we can focus on these 3 factors. So timing, sleep pressure, and relaxation. These are the foundations. So for timing, we've spoken about this earlier on. It's about routines. So keeping the same sleep and wake up time each day, keeping it regular, aligning our sleep with natural day cycles. So waking up in the morning, sleeping in the darkness, being active in the daylight, going out, being active, moving your body, and relaxing in the darkness. Why this matters? Our bodies thrive on routine, as we spoke about circadian rhythms, and a regular sleep pattern improves sleep quality. And there are studies that actually do prove this. Fun fact, even a short exposure to morning daylight can help reset your body clock and make you feel alert throughout the whole day. So when you wake up in the mornings, open those curtains, go outside, have some fresh air, sun, daylight. It will be very good for you. And a quick tip, try to keep a consistent sleep and wake up every single day, even in the weekends. I know it's difficult, but even in the weekends, keep that same routine. The sleep pressure, another thing we touched on in the beginning. So sleep pressure is how tired we feel. It builds throughout the day, it resets when we sleep. So naturally, the longer we stay awake, the more we want to sleep. This sleep pressure increases with daytime activity. It helps us feel ready to sleep at night. And napping does not help I know we all love to take naps, maybe most of us, but napping does not help. If you are very extremely tired, please don't nap more than 20 to 30 minutes and not close to your bedtime. Sleep pressure builds up like a battery. The longer you're awake and active, the more your body naturally powers down at night. And number 3, relaxation helps shift the body from alert mode to sleepy mode. So stress, worry, and frustration can disrupt sleep. A calm mind helps the body fall asleep more easily. Winding down routines help signal that it's time for us to sleep. Relaxation supports both falling asleep and staying asleep. And this is so important because we need to feel calm to drift off to sleep. We can't be excited to fall asleep. And fun fact, anxiety. So we might have difficulties falling asleep when we're anxious, and we might have difficulties falling asleep when we're excited. And that's because anxiety and excitement actually share the same feelings and same symptoms. So yeah, your brain doesn't switch off instantly. It needs a buffer zone of around 60 to 90 minutes to transition from alert mode to sleep mode. So an hour and a half before bedtime, begin these wind down activities, relax, and give yourself some self-care and some time. Create a consistent wind down routine, dim the lights, reduce screen time. So yeah, we'll get into a little bit of some relaxation things you can do in a moment. So some practical tips. Number 1, the first step in understanding the problem is understanding the problem. What is the problem? Why are we not falling asleep? So just to keep it simple, some people like to keep a little sleep diary. We're not looking for perfect data. We are just looking for patterns to explain our sleep quality. What time you went to bed, approximate time you fell asleep, how many times you woke up in the night, what time you woke up, and how you felt during the day. Are you energetic, focused? How was your mood? And this leads on to the step 2, identifying barriers. So identifying what are the barriers to affecting our sleep. Is it our environment? How was the noise when we fell asleep? The light, the temperature, our comfort? Behavior, are we not in a good routine? Did we nap too much? Did we have a lack of daytime activity? Late night screen use? How was our body and lifestyle? Did we have too much caffeine or alcohol? Heavy meals before bedtime? Low activity? Are we ill? Are we in pain? And another thing to look out for is our mind. So are we stressed? Are we worried? Are we overthinking something? Or are we just trying too hard to sleep? Remember what I said earlier, if you genuinely just don't feel tired, go on the sofa, go somewhere else, wind down, read a book, listen to some calming music, and when you do start feeling a bit tired, then get into bed. So it's important to identify these barriers. Number 3 is setting a sleep window. So what this window basically means is a time frame. So think of it like office hours for sleep. Your body performs best when it knows when your sleep shift is about to start. So again, this sleep window is just a little bit more about what I mentioned earlier about having that routine, having that set wake up time and bedtime. And again, same schedule, 7 days a week, helps build up that momentum and that routine. And again, sleep pressure, staying active during the day, getting daylight exposure during the day, and avoiding naps. Being active and getting daylight exposure helps regulate the body clock and build sleep pressure, making it easier to sleep at night. So sometimes if we've had a long day, we've traveled around, we've done a lot of strenuous physical activities, we just feel absolutely exhausted in the night. And that's because we've built our sleep pressure throughout the day. Step 5 is our wind down routine. So again, 60 to 90 minutes before bed, engage in some relaxing activities, reduce screen time, and just wind down, switch off, have a bath. Try not to go on your phone too much, even though I know it's very hard. But yes, just wind down. Everyone is completely different. Some tips that work for me might not work for you, and some tips that work for you might not work for me. And lastly, review the progress. Like, see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you. It's a trial and error. What helps you fall asleep? What helps you stay asleep? What doesn't help you at all? So review the progress and just follow that routine. See what happens. See what works for you. So here are some old school wind down remedies that have been around for years that help with winding down. Number 1 is a cup of warm milk before bed. I know we give this to kids, but you never know, it could help us adults as well. A chamomile tea, lavender scent aromatherapy. So if you've got any diffusers, the scent of lavender is actually very good in making us feel relaxed. A warm bath or a shower before bed. This helps with our body temperature dropping. Reading a physical book, so not any books on our phones, a physical paper book. Dim lights, maybe turn on a candle. Light stretching, so no strenuous activities, just some light stretching before bed. Same time, same routine habit. Listen to calm music and soft music. And one of my absolute favorite ones is actually worry dumping. So if you've got so much going on the next day, take a journal, take a piece of paper, and just write down everything that you've got to do the next day. Because if I don't do that, sometimes I feel personally, when I'm in bed, I just find myself thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow, thinking again and again and again on a loop. And it's not really sleep. So I promise you, just try it out. If you've got a long, busy day, a lot of things in your mind, it doesn't have to be tasks, it can be anything that's on your mind. Just worry dump, put it all on a piece of paper and tell yourself you're going to review this in the morning. So you don't have to keep thinking about it when it's bedtime. Just put it all down on a piece of paper and just say to yourself, you know what, I'm not going to think about it right now. I'll look at it in the morning. And another good tip is breathing exercises. These breathing exercises help you fall asleep and stay asleep by calming your nervous system. So slow, controlled breathing signals to your body that it's safe to relax. It reduces our stress hormones and lowers our heart rate. So this shifts us from our fight or flight during the day and staying alert and being alert to the state of rest and digest. So it's time for us to drift off and just kind of wind down for the day. Supplements. So if you do need some extra support, there are some supplements that can support with sleep, but I do emphasize, please, please, please use these with caution and with medical guidance and prescriptions, because they can actually build tolerance. So you might just need more of them for it to be effective. And also you might get too dependent and rely on them. So you genuinely just, you might find it hard to fall asleep without them at all. But yeah, if you do want to get some supplements, please do discuss it with your doctor or a professional. You can get some herbal supplements, magnesium, melatonin, and many others. And lastly, just to summarize, so sleep is essential and even the small changes can make a big, big difference. So focus on consistent routines, staying active and winding down properly. So remember the three big things I was talking about. It was the time, so working on our routines and staying consistent with our routines. Number 2, winding down. Sorry, not winding down, it's just kind of building that sleep pressure. during the day, and lastly, winding down before bed. So we spend a significant part of our lives asleep. 56 hours per week on average in bed, so around 8 hours a night or less. This is all just approximate, so that's around 240 hours per month, 2,900 hours per year, and over 200,000 hours in a lifetime of sleep, which is over a third of our life. So invest in your sleep, invest in a high quality mattress if you can, good pillows, anything that makes you comfortable. If it's a fresh set of bedding, if it's pajamas, if it's fluffy socks, blackout curtains, or just even an eye mask, those are really good. Temperature, AC. If you find it really hard to fall asleep when it's hot, especially being in the UAE, an AC, some cool air, noise reduction, so maybe some earplugs, and a calming environment. So maybe treat yourself to some soft lighting, maybe an aromatherapy diffuser. And yeah, so lastly, just to say, sleep is not time lost, it is time invested. And I really hope you all got to take away some very, very good tips from this presentation, and just understood a little bit more about the benefits of practicing these sleep hygiene tips. And I hope you all do try some of these tips tonight and throughout the week. And I really hope it works. And again, it's a trial and error. Everyone is different. Some tips might not work for others, and for some it might. So yes, does anyone have any questions or any experiences they'd like to share? Or any feedback?
Thank you, Sophia. That was really great. I learnt a lot, and hopefully I'm looking forward to going to bed tonight.
I hope me talking too much didn't make you feel sleepy.
Not at all.
Yeah, Sophia,
Nicely so. Calming, I think. Calming
Yeah,
and
nice.
control.
It
Thank
certainly
you
was.
very
No, Sophia,
much.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I had one question. You know, when sometimes the concept of catching up on sleep. So if, for example, you slept for 4 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours back, can you actually genuinely catch up on that sleep, or is it lost if you've not slept that night?
That's very debatable. Everyone is different. I know some. So again, napping can help. You can catch up on the sleep with napping the next day, but it's very important for how long you nap and when you nap. So napping around the afternoon is usually the best time, and no more than around 30 minutes. Some people, when they nap, they feel more awake and ready for the day, but some people, when they nap, just feel groggy, or some people genuinely just cannot sleep in the night. So again, it's very different for everyone. Does napping work for you?
Not really, to be honest. It's very difficult to do.
So I guess it's just kind of not doing any strenuous activities throughout the day, helping yourself just build that sleep pressure throughout the day and getting an early night the next day.
Okay.
And catch up
Thank
that
you.
way. Any other questions? So yes, Laura, are you happy for me to end the event here?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I wish
Thank
you all
you.
a lovely day and a restful night tonight and throughout the week.